my psych is in love with me / I'm in love with my psych. I don't know. Stassi, you know more about this than I do.
This is an insane thing that's on TikTok right now unfolding. It's this lady who's been seeing a psych and therapist separately for I think she saw him for 3 years. And if you haven't seen this, like go on TikTok, and if she's taking them down by the time you've seen it, because I'm sure that there's going to be a legal battle at some point ensuing because she doxed this man and said his full name, where he worked, like all of these things. She at first started saying that she was like being abused by as a patient from her psych. And it had started because she wanted to get ADHD medication because she'd been on it before when she was younger in college, and she stopped, and then wanted to get back on ADHD medication. So she started seeing this psych who she specifically immediately said was like a Pakistani man. She is a white woman. Let's remember this. Some people are like, it's not going to matter. It actually does, because it's like a lot of weaponized incompetent. Well, not incompetence. It's pointed.
Especially with like the climate in our country.
Yes,
right now.
the climate's interesting. The way that she starts talking about him is very interesting. Anyways, she says that like slowly he starts fostering this inappropriate relationship. It's at first she doesn't say it's not like it's right now. I think we're on like episode 15 or 17 or 18 or something. She's done a lot of episodes and then like answering questions between each episode. She calls them on TikTok.
She calls them episodes?
Yes.
It's giving who did I
That's what people are saying. Who did I marry? But it's her with her freaking psych. She said, we sat on she didn't say, she's like, we sit down and she introduces me or we introduce each other, right? Like normal sessions. And let me tell you that I was supposed to have a psych appointment today. I see a psychiatrist. Is that the right one? The one that prescribes medication, psychiatrist. Weekly or every 2 weeks for almost a year now, because I have some mental health things, right? So this is where I'm coming from leading into this. Not just being like dragging this poor woman. Either way, there's a lot of therapists that are coming out speaking about this. She says, we sit down and immediately he tells me, like how long he's been doing this, because it's pretty normal for them to do that in the first thing. And then you do like an intake, talking back and forth. Psychiatrists will ask you almost the same thing in every lead up, because it's about medication, how you're taking your medication, where your mental health is at, all of those kind of things. They'll ask you a lot of times, like she talks about this. He asked me how my bowel movements are. It's important because medications can mess with that. How her sexual activity was, because that's important. A lot of medications can mess with that. And what was the third thing? And there was another third one that she was like upset that he asked her about at every single meeting. But if you're taking new medications, those things are really important. And like and how's your sleep? Because medication, once again, can mess with that. And also, if you're not sleeping well, it can lead to show them that there's other things maybe mentally going on. So he asked her about that, and she's like, what's tea? She said immediately she noticed that he was attractive, but like at first nothing really like started. But she started saying that he's fostering this weird, inappropriate relationship. Basically, the first video or two, I think people were like, oh, wow, this could be maybe something. Like, let's listen. It was interesting how the way she was capturing people in, right? She started saying, oh, well, he was very intelligent and he listened really well to me and he would ask me leading follow-up questions, which your psych better be intelligent. He better be sitting and asking you questions and actually paying attention between this meeting and the next one.
That's literally their whole job.
Hello, that's what you're paying them to do. And if they're not like actually paying attention to the things you're saying and bringing them up in the next one, they're not good psychs. Like, what are we doing? She'd be like, he was well renowned and he paid really good attention to me. He noticed small changes. She was like, when I wore glasses, he said he liked my glasses, and so they're talking about that. And like, I made a video about this that like on one of my separate TikTok pages, and was like, my psych will notice if I have different makeup on or change the hair color, and it's like the slightest bit of changes. She notices everything. They'll notice like weight gain or loss. Like if you look tired, mine, she's like, stand up and spin in the camera. Let me look at you. If I'm not in front of her in person, if you're like bouncing your leg a little bit more, if I change my purse, she's noticing. If I change my perfume, or if I'm not wearing perfume, because she knows that I like perfume. If I go in and I'm not wearing a perfume that day, she can't smell me. She's like, what's tea? What's going on? Like, because it's different. Like they are really good, or should be really good, about catching like small, minute changes. So she's bringing up all of these things that are like very normal things. Eventually says that she sees him once a month, and she's like, it's way more than I need to be seeing him. I'm only supposed to be seeing him once a month or every 3 months for ADHD medication. And people are kind of saying like, well, if your psych has been saying that you should come in more, it's because he's probably wanting to see like ebb and flows in your mindset. And not just because, you know, like they might be diagnosing you on the back end and not telling you, like, sister, I think there's something else going on. So she starts having, like, fostering these feelings and bringing them up and saying, like, really inappropriate things to him. And they are trained from what everybody else online has been saying. Like, there's, like, things called transference and, like, all of these weird, like, not weird, but therapy terms that are, like, apparently this happens a lot to therapists and mental health workers because they do listen. And they're really, like, you get an hour or 30 minutes of their, like, specific time. And if people in your life aren't...
Oh, I was just going to say their whole job is literally to, like, take care, like, to care about what you're saying and to act like they care about what you're saying.
And they should.
That's like the whole point
That's
of
why
it.
you're there.
Yeah.
Can I pop in real quick?
Yes.
You haven't gotten to, I don't know what's going to happen yet.
Miles is on the edge of his
He's
seat.
like...
But the first red flag for me was her mentioning that he was attractive in the beginning. Yeah. I'm like...
What are we doing?
Like as an accusation against him.
Oh, it's his problem that he's attractive? Like,
he's attractive,
he's an attractive doctor, so...
That's also a self-report, too, because she's like, damn, he's hot. And then...
You could immediately be like, I feel uncomfortable with, like, a really attractive, like...
Woman,
off the bat.
Yeah.
And also, like, she was like, he's the same age as me, and, like, would ask about my interests. It's like, of course
Or after the first couple of sessions, if you're uncomfortable, bring it up.
But
hasn't she been singing for, like, a couple of years?
3 years.
Yeah.
And she was like, I broke up with him. She says, she uses the term breakup, which is crazy, because it's like, oh.
Yeah,
there's like
that's crazy.
I'm trying to think of, there's so much that I'm leaving out because there's a lot of parts, and in between the parts she originally had her comments on. This has only been going on for like 4 days now. For the first 2 days she had her comments on, and people were like, sister, baby, they were bringing up valid things, something, she would respond, and like, so there's like so many videos up. She was saying that she'd brought up her attraction or how much she thought about him and these kind of things to him. And she was like, it was his job to like drop me as a client and all of these things, which they can't necessarily do because they could actually get sued for abandonment, especially if you are in mental health crisis and need a psych. It's not very much like you could get a new psych and then take like a couple months to go and actually sit down. Like my psych doesn't have any open slots for new people because it's just like you get filled up and then like, people like me see her every week or every other week, so she doesn't have time for new people. So they can't just like up and leave you, especially when you're trying new medications or whatever the case may be. And like I said, a lot of therapists say that this is quite normal for people to have like these deep relationships, like starting feeling like of a relationship because they give you undivided attention and like you can feel seen if you're not being seen in like your normal relationships and stuff. And girl, she ended up doxing him in like a video or two, saying his full name, where he worked, all of this, and people were like finding him. And because he's a psych, he cannot come out and say, it's like HIPAA. He can't be like, these are the things she's experiencing. Like I told her this, that, and the third to stop. And like she, at one point, she was like calling because it was all through telemed. She eventually says like episode whatever, that it's all through the phone. So she's following.
She never has even seen him in person?
She had to at the end, but when she fell in love with him, it had been 30-minute phone calls once a month.
Oh my God. Girl.
So she calls his office after, I think she asked him if she could go in. He was like, oh, we're fine. Like, it's fine. She calls his office and they're like, oh no, he takes like in-persons. She shows up. She said she ran across the room and gave him a hug. And I think the only time I've touched my psych was like a shake in the hand, like the first time I met her. Sometimes like she'll guide me out and she'll be like, it was nice seeing you. But no. So she's like, and he didn't like shove me away. He like barely, cause like that's probably what you can't, you shouldn't be putting hands on your patients. Like shove you away is crazy. She told him, she sits down and she's like, it was during a full moon. No, it's because it's good. And I mean crazy as in like I said, maybe I'll say it. I have bipolar, I have OCPD, ADHD. I have some things, right? So I don't mean like she's actually insane, but I think some of these things are when I say crazy. Like people are like, that's rude. I'm like, okay, but like please. So she says she sits down, she looks him like dead in the eye and was like, I had a dream. Oh, and she's also been talking to a ChatGPT in the meanwhile. She calls him Henry and has put all of the information into ChatGPT this whole time about like how anyways, this is a side note. So she's like, I had this dream and I had Henry, which is her ChatGPT, decipher it. She specifically tells him I was ovulating, which like, does your psych need to... okay.
She told her psych she was on.
Yeah, she's like, well, during the time that she had this dream. Okay. And she's like, in the dream, we hooked up in this exact room. And she said that he looked scared.
Well, first of all, like he said they don't need to have like the in-person.
She shows up.
She shows up, right?
Yeah.
So,
and what are you supposed to do? Like, as a care provider, you're like, and you're telling him these things. What's the tea? I mean, other psychs and therapists have said like what like to do, and they're like, well, you could look for there's like a head of whatever that you could report all of this to. But even the reporting stuff, you can't just like stop them, like, or stop the therapy unless like you're taking them to 5150. But even then, you're still, like, if I got 5150 today, my psych would still be, she'd have to, hi, phone call. She would be my main care provider if I was in the hospital. Like, yes, they would have, what is it called? The hospital staff would be there taking care of me or wherever. But, like, because she's been my care provider, she would have to, I don't know if they go in or if they call.
Especially after 3 years.
3?
Yeah.
So she tells him this, and she's like, and he didn't say anything. He just said, he looked scared, and like there was a response. And so she was like, he's been abusing his power. He knows what he was doing. He was teetering the line of like never giving me compliments, but giving me indirect compliments. I'm like, oh my God. So this is not over. She's been on live stream pushing a, what did she call it? Life coaching or something? Yeah, it's either life coaching or it's like ADHD, some sort of, it's like something that she's selling courses or classes to. And she's been on live stream like showing things about it. And there's lots of people that are saying that they think that she has other mental health things, which obviously you can't diagnose people, but
I think you can.
Oh, she posted 18 hours ago.
18 hours ago.
Part 18.
Part 18.
I was in love with my psychiatrist and he kept me anyway.
Yeah, and she eventually says that she broke up with him. And I can't remember the reason why, because basically he wasn't like feeding back into her or whatever. Because of course he wasn't. But now she said she started all of this not to dox him or get him in trouble, just because she wanted to share like the abuse that she was facing. And she also at the same time she was like, my therapist didn't ever say anything. We don't know. Maybe her therapist could have been saying these things or couldn't have been, but we will never know. And also, if people are in psychosis, not saying she is, but a lot of these things do track with, if I came into my psychs saying a quarter of the things that she said online, my psych would be like, this is also why I think that going in person, while she shouldn't have probably gone in person to him, because that poor guy, in person is good because you can hide a lot online, like the telemed portion, or though it's got to be safe for psychs, because I saw a lot of people responding saying this is why they stopped doing mental health stuff, because their clients would fall in love with them and then like be violent when they push them away, because they're like, well, you're supposed to love me and you said that you cared about me. And it's like, you can care about somebody without loving them.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like psychiatry and like a psychiatrist and a therapist are different, because like a therapist is just kind of there to like listen to and help you work through it, where a psych has to ask those questions to get to a diagnosis.
That's the point. And like to give you medication, or if like sometimes things take a long time to diagnose. Yeah. And if he was trying to figure it out, like, and if you know somebody's not open to new diagnoses, whatever, he might not be like, I'm thinking that you might have this. We need to just keep talking for a few months to figure it out. Like, he might have said that, but also like sometimes when you see something, that's all you're seeing. Mm-hmm. So we don't know. He could have been keeping her for the monthly thing. One, because she said at some point she was begging to see him more regularly. He was like, no. So seeing him monthly is not that wild, especially if you're like begging the office to see you. Yeah. If you're calling a mental health place and you say you need to see them, they're going to book you for an appointment. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you're doing it surely like fully through insurance, then they might say no, but then your insurance is going to have to give a reason why that they're not seeing their mental, like, because then you could, it's just not, it's not safe. So we don't know it's crazy work. There's no conclusion.
Well, she's still posting.
the story's not over.
That's what she looks like.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so the day that she said that she was like, and he complimented my glasses, but he told me that he prefers tortoiseshell glasses, probably just genuinely in conversation, like, oh, cool, I like those glasses. I like tortoiseshell. She's like, I've been wearing my tortoiseshell glasses in these videos, but so if he sees them, he thinks they look good. I'm like, are we okay?
Oh, yeah.
She said that she taught, doesn't it give? She taught like a yoga class and told them at the beginning of the class about all this. It's like,
her
no.
bio says ADHD coach, helping ADHDers get and stay sober, which, yeah, okay. But
that's a good mission.
But how are we? But you're helping by spreading this about your dude?
Yeah.
But then also people were like, well, if you believe in all of these things, then you can report him. She's like, I don't want to report him. That's not the point of these. But if that...
Because she wants the window to
She
stay
wants-
open, bro.
Also, it feels like kind of like, I don't know, not to say that she doesn't have mental health issues, but like it feels kind of like cloudy.
It does. Well, it's working
Yeah.
because people are in her lives. I mean, I'm sure that there's somebody actually, and I don't know. This is the thing. Once people start going viral like this, people will join those like groups just to see what they say and talk about. But there's been people speaking out about being in her like life coaching or whatever that is thing, and like what. This is alleged. I don't know if this is accurate, what people are saying, but they were saying that a lot of it was ChatGPT based, that she would say, use it for therapy. And I don't know if that's true or not, but girl, we do not use ChatGPT for
She has
therapy.
ChatGPT named Steve or whatever. So
It's Henry.
Yeah. So they're best friends.
That's insane.
They're locked in.
They're
locked in.
A little bit, bro.
Well,
She
Henry,
must be
like, she
paying at
must
least
be.
$20 a month.
Oh.
'cause after,
But that's
they
not
don't-
what we're using it for. We're supposed to be like, hey, can you help me drop this email? Like, ugh.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So this is developing, I guess. So I guess we'll. If there's any
let's
updates,
watch it next week.
We'll see. We'll talk about it next week, maybe.
Yeah.
She's still posting, so
Part 18.
part 18.
Part 18, I guess.
Part 2, I guess.